It's the final video for Countdown to Christmas 50 DIY ornaments. Project number one, our first 10 ornaments, are these little sign hangers, and they're about 6 inches wide and probably about 2 inches long, and they are perfect for little hanging ornaments. First thing I do, they're raw wood, is we put a primer on them. So once they're all primed, they are ready for the next step. 5 of them I primed white, and 5 of them I put a coat of chalk paint on in a gray color as my primer, and then I am going to paint those a darker black. Once the primer had dried, it was time to do some decoupage and stamping. For the white signs, I decoupage sentiments from the Christmas sentiments paper from Decoupage Queen, which was designed by Ellen J. Goods. So I just cut out the little sentiments, and then I used tiny little stamps from the Holly Jolly stamp, other stamps I had, and just a sentiment and a stamp. And then at the very end, I did a little bit of splatter paint on all of them. You could see some of them I had to stamp it twice, and the reason being it's wood, it's a little uneven, it has a lot of texture, but the second time is fine. I also go around all of the edges on the white ones with the stamp pad to frame it in a little bit and just finish it off. Here I am using my decoupage medium from Pentart, putting the Rejoice down, couple Rejoice, and I go over this probably 3 times with the top coat just to make sure that this is gonna last for several years. These are little stamps that I have had forever. They were originally made by Close to My Heart, a company that was no longer in business. And here's the technique for just framing in a little tiny edge, a little bit of color along the edge that just frames in and kind of finishes the design. And then I'm going to decoupage on the Merry Christmas, and that one's done. Onto the black ones. So I chose to use the tinsel transfer from IOD's Christmas release 2024. And I am just taking one of the words, Merry, I'm separating them because they wouldn't fit all the way across, and going around the words with the stylus just to get the gold leaf to transfer. One little bit didn't transfer, put it back on, transferred just fine. And I am now just pushing it down into the wood. Again, the wood is textured, so it kind of resists a little bit sometimes some of that super thin transfer. Something was on the wood, I got rid of it, and now the Merry Christmas. So this is what I did for all 5 of the black ones, and it looks a little gray, but once you put the top coat over it, it gets a little more black. And then I went ahead and I put a gold paste around the edges of all of them, and they were finished. You can see in this one that I haven't painted the top, the little white part. I got all 3 edges painted, and then in the end I do go back and I paint that just to finish it. And again, with these little signs, I also do 3 coats of top coat over the whole thing so that I know I've got a super strong finish on it. The tinsel transfer from IOD has 8 pages of transfers similar, lots of typography, some music, beautiful gold snowflakes. It's just overflowing with gold, little gold designs just like this, and they're perfect for these tiny little ornaments because they don't get lost. I mean, that is a super fine, really delicate typography, and it doesn't get lost on this sign. And here you see one of the designs. It's a swag, a floral swag. And you don't see all of the detail on the video, but it is incredibly detailed. They're absolutely gorgeous. And again, first top coat, I am just using Pentart. I'm using, oh, it's Pentart decoupage and varnish. And the reason I'm using this is because I'm doing um, decoupage and varnishing top coats at the same time. And once that top coat dried, then I went ahead and I used the antiquing paste in gold. That's another Pentart product. And the reason I wait till after I have put one coat, a top coat on it, is then I can maneuver it because it is super, super soft and you can end up putting it somewhere you don't want it. And that way, if you have a top coat on it, it doesn't dry real quickly. You can go back and you can wipe away what you don't like the way it looks. And here they are, 10 ornaments all done. For the next set of ornaments, I am using these little wooden tags that are available on Amazon, and I'm going to be decoupaging them with this farmhouse design from AB Studios, and you get 9 different designs on one sheet. It is rice paper, and I am just decoupaging them down to the wood, flipping it over, letting it dry, and then putting another decoupage piece of the exact same design, not the exact of the same paper on the other side. And then we're going to use, and to keep these in a farmhouse style, I'm using a little wooden bead at the top, and also I'm using twine rather than a silky cord. So here you see 6 of the designs with one piece of paper on them. Here's the twine going through. And what I did with the little wooden bead is I took my mercury paint, which is from Wise Owl Paint. It is a metallic paint. And I painted it in mercury, which is like a deep silver. And this is a simple farmhouse design. But the other thing that I did do is it's got to have a little glitter. It's got to have a little reflection. So on the tree, when the lights go on, you see a little bit of glitter. So I went ahead and used a silver. And what I'm using is my glitter pen from Pentart. And I'm just going to do a squiggle, a zigzag design all around the edges and let that dry. And once that is dry, this piece is all done. And we did 9 different ones of this and one gold one because there's only 9 designs on each one of those sheets of paper. I really love the colors of this, the colorways. I feel like it's kind of Nordic or Scandinavian in color. And I use these on this particular paper on one other project in this series of Countdown to Christmas. It's just like decorating cookies. You need a steady hand. And there it is, all done. And there is a whole stack of 8 of them already. For the next set, I am using some plastic baubles, which I purchased at Michael's. These baubles were buy one, get 2 free. So that is a really good deal. They cost $2.99 for one, and with getting 2 free, it's about $1 each, and they're pretty big. And first thing I did is paint on bonding primer so that whatever I put on it will stick. And here they are hanging all ready for the next coat of paint. So what I painted on them was just an acrylic paint after that. And what I'm using to decoupage on these are these little kitty papers. The paper is from AB Studios and it is called Christmas Kitties. And there are 9 to a sheet. It's an A4 size, about 9 by 11. And they are so cute. Pretty muted colors, but with a little bit of red on every single one. So I'm ripping them because I know they are going to be kind of, the edges are a little hard to get them really perfect on something that's rounded like this. So I just decoupage them in the front, put a top coat over them, let them dry, and then we're going to glitter them. I'm using the Pentart decoupage medium and varnish to do my decoupage here. So when I'm doing something on a circular that's flat, I do right down the middle. I'll adhere the middle first and then go along and do the sides. I'm trying to eliminate any wrinkles or as many as I possibly can because it's always difficult to put something onto a rounded surface. Once they were all done and dry, I actually used Pentart Deluxe Paste, which I actually put a tiny bit of gray paint in it to enhance the color a little more so that it would be just in case some of the glitter didn't stick, then the background would still have that little bit of gray tone that I wanted on the bauble. So the deluxe paste is much softer than any of the other pastes. So you could see it's really easy to put it on with a brush. Super silky. And this is actually deluxe paste in pearl, which, like I said, I added a little bit of gray paint to it. I mean, a little tiny, like maybe an eighth of a teaspoon. I'm trying to get an even coverage, but I actually want it to have some texture and I want it to be a little bit dimensional. That is why I use the paste. And I am using, again, Pentart Fine Glitter in Silver and just sprinkle it all over that paste. And it actually holds it really, really well. And then let it dry. Such a cute little kitty. And you can see the background on a lot of these is gray, which is why I chose that gray paint to put inside the deluxe paste. And once I'm done, I actually put all of that glitter back in the bottle. A little goes a long way with this superfine. And I'm just hitting the side of the little bottle with my finger. So just a little bit will come out. But that is what is going to give this the shimmer when the lights hit it. These kitties are so cute. All done. The next group of ornaments is also using decoupage. And for these ornaments, I use these little round tags. Now, these tags are super, super thin, so I had to attach them to another round circle of wood. And what I am using is the Calambor Vintage Christmas Pink Santas, and it is a larger piece of paper, but the Santas, there's 8 small ones and 6 big ones, and they're a little bit difficult shape to fit onto anything, so I have to add a little bit of other products to it. But I really love them. They're pink with flowers, and you can't really tell, but I have painted the background of these tags with a super soft light pink, and then I am just decoupaging the Santas down. And I make 8 of these, and then because the store only had 8 of the circles, I did get 2 larger ovals, which I am using the same paper and the 2 larger Santas. So there they are, painted decoupage ready to dry. And this is the bigger sphere. And so these are the bigger Santas. And again, you can see the shape of them is just difficult to get it to fit on anything perfectly. So we improvise with some glitter. But they're very detailed and super shabby chic. And I just love the pink. I've kept all of the ornaments kind of neutral, and nothing is real, real bright. The whole tree is very neutral. And I did the same thing on the back. I decoupaged one of these big Santas on. And what we did, we used the gold, super soft twine that I have. It's actually a gold cord for a hanger, and I put a bead on it, and then I painted the bead in a rose gold. Now I'm going to add those smaller tags to the big round spheres. You'll see in the next video when I also use those tags, I have to double them because they're just a little bit too thin to support all the mediums without warping right away. So I am gluing them down with some heavy body gel from Pentart onto the bigger, they're not huge, bigger wooden spheres. And again, here they are ready to dry. Once they were all dry, I went ahead with the gold glitter pen, and I'm just outlining all of, because the little Santas are super tiny, they need something to kind of bring them out. So I'm using the gold glitter around the whole design, and then actually going around to connect. You can't tell that I painted these pinks, so the glitter kind of connects the 2 pinks together. It eliminates that edge. I'm just scribbling on the outside, so it's just got a little bit of detail. And then I let them dry. And once they were all dry, it was time to add the snow paste, which is also another product from Pentart. So I am adding the snow paste all along in that section where the tag doesn't cover all the way. And I just have a tiny little artist spatula and just adding it on. Now the snow paste dries super hard, and it actually dries quite quickly. I did tint some of it with that same light pink paint, but it didn't make much difference, so I decided not to tint the rest of it. When these were done, I thought they looked like cookies with lots and lots of icing on them. Here they are with the snow paste is all dried, and I am going and connecting the two parts with glitter. So I'm glittering along the edges, and I'm going to make them just a little bit more um, glittery. The designs are so tiny that you really don't want it to get lost on the tree. So adding all this extra gold glitter actually makes them stand out a little more. But they do look like cookies. I'm just dotting it on, and then I go back and kind of make it more into a line by spreading it out a little bit more. And like I said, I did 8 of these and 2 of the larger ones. And once they were all dry, I set them up, and here they are, ready to go on the tree. The last 10 ornaments are what I want to call these old world rustic ornaments. And for these, I use those same round tags. And what I have to do halfway through is glue the two together because they started to warp like right away. First thing I did was paint everything with bronze metallic paint. And these are the castings I used. I did not make a new casting for this set of ornaments. All of these castings were made from extra resin from other projects that I have. Some were over a year old, but most of them were from extra projects that I've done as part of this series. So once, and you see, I did not look for full coverage. That's the one thing for this particular project. Nothing has full coverage. Everything just has a little bit of paint. But I'm going to use the Pentart Rust Kit, and I'm using 3 of the 4 colors. I'm not using the darker red. I figured they were already dark enough. I just add a little bit of black, and there is 3D powder that you use. So what I do is I just keep dabbing just a tiny, tiny bit of paint, dip it into the 3D powder, and put that onto the casting. And these are all resin castings. And they all come out just a little bit different, but here they are with the first rusty effect. The next thing I am doing is I am want to crackle the background. So I am using Pentart's crackling primer, and I am painting all of the tags. I want this is the metallic brass paint from Wise Owl, and I want that to be in the cracks. So, and you can see it dries totally clear. So once all 10 of those were dry, then I am using the crackling paste from Pentart. And this is a super thick paste, and I tried to get a smooth coat, but not too smooth because I really want these to look old world rustic. So that's all you do. And the next day, I let it dry overnight, and this is what it looked like. Very much like old cracked mosaics. And now is when I am using my heavy body gel, and I am gluing a second tag to the back of every one of them, because that's a lot of product that's going on these. So once all of that crackle was dry, then I am now putting on glazes. So I have a patina glaze, and I'm actually also using the Pent Art antiquing gel in patina and ochre. And I'm just putting a little tiny bit on, rubbing it in. Again, I don't want full coverage. I just want little bits of accents. Some of them I spray a little bit of water on to spread it around a little bit, and some I just use it just like it is. The next step was to add a little bit of glimmer, so I am using the wax paste and I am using it in the gold, the yellowy gold. Just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of glimmer. Super easy to put it on with your finger. It's super soft. You only need a tiny little bit. And then I'm also adding the metallic antiquing paste, which is in a color called honey gold. It looks it looks a little coppery, but it's really beautiful. And I wipe it away, put a little on. It looks really dark here, but it really lightens up. Now to add a little color to these rusty castings. I am doing a turquoisey color. Actually, I'm using robin's egg chalk paint. Again, just a little bit of color, never full coverage on anything. That's what gives you the look. You keep building up the layers and just adding a little bit here and a little bit there. That snowflake is so cool. It looks like a piece of metal. Let them dry and then add a little more. And I'm using the same ochre glaze, and I'm just the antiquing gel from Pent Art. Just again putting a little bit here and there, just a little bit. And then once I was happy with that, all the paint, let it dry, and then I am putting on a little bit antique paste on each one of these castings, and I'm using the same gold. This project is a little bit time consuming. I'm not even going to tell you how many hours I put into this batch of ornaments. But the way I look at it is these are going to be around for a long time. Everything I did extra sturdy so that they would last. And here I am actually putting the paste on with a tiny little paintbrush because I don't want to have more than I need. And here you see them before I add the glitter. So the wax gives it a shimmer and the glitter gives it a sparkle. And this is just a glue pen, and it is in gold. And I think I've used one whole glue pen. It seems like it's just about empty for all of these projects, so it goes a long way. So I glitter both the base and all of the castings, And then I let them dry, and once they're all dry, I glue them down. And here you see a few of them on the tree. And I use heavy body gel from Pent Art because these are pretty big casting pieces, and that really holds them secure. It's the final video for Countdown to Christmas 50 DIY ornaments. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. And I'm wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at Garden House Studio.